This episode is sponsored by our good friends at Famous Faces and Funnies, located in Melbourne, Florida. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, as well as Docking Bay 94, located in Boca Raton, Florida. Check us out on comicsandgames.com and Facebook. And Ian's Display Accessories, the best figure stands for iconic Kenner Star Wars and Hasbro G.I. Joe, shipping nationwide. And EGS Expert Grading Services, the GenX place to get your comics graded and encased, shipping nationwide. Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Codename YouTube Viewer 2. Hi, I'm your presenter, Shibu Ryu. Now, this is going to be kind of an informal episode for the channel. I'm basically going to highlight some of the books that I have picked up in the past month or so. And, I was doing this as a regular basis, but, with the G.I. Joe comic recaps and all the other things. And if you haven't seen the Cyclonus episode I posted yesterday, I think that's a great figure. I mean, just giving you a sneak preview. This thing is sick. So make sure to check that out. I'll have the full details about that. So again, I'm just going to be featuring some books that I picked up that are going to make some of them are going to make their way to grading. So you'll see now, and then when they come back from either PGX or EGS. So, I've been utilizing both those smaller grading companies. I've been building a personal relationship. Like when I talk to PGX, I speak with Rob or Colette. And then with EGS, it's always Tony. And I like that aspect. CGC, and I'm not hating on CGC, but I get scared when there's in the comic industry, case in point, Diamond Press. How many of the shop owners have been dealing with just the pain in the butt Diamond. And basically, it's like, where else are you going to go? I don't want to see that with comic grading. So that's why I think that putting all your money into CGC is a dangerous thing. And, I've used CGC before, but I like the small business, and I like the fact that these companies have something to prove. They're hungry, and I want to be a part of that. So I like that aspect of it, and that's why I support those two grading houses more so than CGC. And I'm not saying anything bad about CGC. It's just that, everyone has their own preference. So here we go. Anyway, let's look at the first book. I guess it's better late than never, So I was able to pick up a second print of the iconic, well, now modern iconic, Spider-Man 55. Again, this is a second print. I like this one more than the first and the third because of the red and black. My alma mater, Rutgers University, it has the red and black, and I think this is beautiful. And so this will probably be sent out to grading and, go up there. Just this is going to be a modern classic, let's be honest. So not picking this up, it was dumb. So finally, I caved in and got one. Because that's the other thing, is because we, us Gen Xers, went through the Death of Superman and X-Men #1, now I'm finding that if there's a book that's being pushed, I'm kind of pushing away from it. I'm like, I don't want to fall into that category. Anyway, so that's that. So the next one is actually going to be Ms.Marvel. And Ms.Marvel, with the Disney Plus. And again, that's what I've been noticing in modern comics. Any inkling from Disney Plus or Amazon or any of them, I need that morning coffee. Anyway, any inkling that something is going to arise from them, you'll see the first appearances, any significance in that character and in their run will increase. So I think this is the second Ms.Marvel run, but this is issue #1, and I got issue #3 and issue #5. And the thing about Ms.Marvel is she's the first Indo-Pak, that means Indian and Pakistani descent superhero. And it's funny because, me being of Indian back heritage. She's wearing a dupatta, that's the scarf, and this is called a kurta, that's what girls wear as casual wear. So it's just funny, and I think this character is really relatable on so many levels. Number one, many, all of us Americans come from immigrants. I mean, that's just the truth. So you deal with the fact that this is a character dealing, being of immigrant parents, and then the fact that she's a teenager, she's a girl, she has superpowers, she's in high school. There's so many elements that are relatable in this, and she is one of the fastest growing characters that these younger kids are being drawn to. And so I figured that, hey, this is like my cousin here. I gotta learn more about her. So I started looking into Ms.Marvel, and I highly recommend you guys too. I think it's a good character and something that you could feel good getting behind and supporting. And I think that's a perfect segue into the next character, the next kind of series that I've been sampling. Again, I have a 3-issue rule. So any new run that I'm sampling, I give it to 3 issues before I make a judgment if I want to continue on. And that's the case with America Chavez. So this is the first issue, number 1, the variant cover. And then this is the second one. And this book has actually been spec'd a lot because of she also will be featured in the Ms.Marvel in the MCU. She's going to have a new role. She's part of that collection of these younger Avengers that are going to be contributing and bringing in a younger audience into the MCU. So America Chavez, and I think this one deals with her family more, her adopted family. She comes from another planet. She had 2 moms, so it's the LGBT aspect of it, and she was raised by American Hispanic family, and I just think that this is an interesting book. It's been fun so far, these 2 books I've read, and there's a lot of firsts in this issue number 2, like her entire family. So that somewhere may be featured in the MCU. So that's why these modern comic people have been talking about this character in this issue in particular. Me, I just wanted to see what's about and enjoy and see what's going on with this. And I think it's been a good read as well. I really enjoyed that. So here's a good example of this crazy recent trend of newsstand variants. If you guys recall, one of my first unboxings, I featured the iconic G.I. Joe 75 cover with the Baroness and Serpentor. This is one of my top favorite covers for obvious reasons, but I love the whole artwork on this one. So this is something that I was glad to have done, but it just so happened, yep, I found a newsstand variant. See, that little barcode has been making crazy news in modern comics and highly sought after. So if you get the same grade for these, which one's going to be more? This one, because the newsstand variants are more scarce, and that's something that that's been really. I mean, look at Spider-Man 300. The difference between a direct versus a newsstand edition is astronomical. I mean, it is significant. It's not like nothing to sneeze at. So I decided to do that. All right. So let's stick with the MCU. The next book I targeted and picked up was actually Secret Wars number 2. This is the 3rd issue, and again, it's the unveiling first appearance of the Beyonder. Is he a possible MCU bad guy? Thanos is out of the picture. Galactus, the Beyonder, those are 2 primary big baddies that could be the next in the MCU. So there's a spec aspect to this pickup as well that I think, a lot of you should consider now before, as we get closer to maybe in a year or 2. So this is something that's good to pick up now and hold on to. And again, you might see this one graded, sent off to grading, but this is a pretty nice copy. I think it needs a clean and a press. Now that I'm starting to utilize that a little bit more and understand, the difference. But yeah, this is definitely one a lot of people should, just keep in mind, I think. The next one really isn't that big of a deal, but well, it is. John Romita and Chris Claremont, X-Men number 199. I've been featuring these on my Instagram and Facebook pages, so if you're there and you've seen these posted there, let's talk a little bit more about that. But I don't know much about the issue itself. I haven't read it. Usually with these, I see it and then I read it online. That's how I don't have to take it out and touch it. But again, even though this is a ridiculous yellow and orange, I like that. I think it's a pretty cool cover, and so I'm definitely interested in checking this one out. So X-Men 199. The next one is the first Jim Lee X-Men work. So X-Men number 248. Again, with X-Men books, they've been going crazy. So all the key X-Men titles have been skyrocketing, been selling like hotcakes, and you're seeing like high turnovers for them. But so I've been targeting those that are kind of under the radar. There is significance for different reasons than key characters or whatsoever. I think I picked up the first cover, Mr. Sinister. I sent that out to grading. Not the first appearance because he's not on the cover. So this issue, he's actually on the cover of it. So I sent that out to grading. Again, the second best alternative than getting a first appearance is the first cover appearance. And again, this one is a beautiful cover. That nice 90s hot pink in the background. Havoc, Wolverine, and the Nanny. This is another great issue, great artwork, and I think that this one is just right there, perfect. And following that, and because Black Widow just came out, X-Men number 268. I love when these, like I talked about it with Todd McFarlane, whenever he featured not just Spider-Man, but another hero, like in, I guess, Amazing Spider-Man 323 with him and Captain America. Again, this is Jim Lee showing the Avengers, him drawing the Scarlet Black Widow as well as Captain America, and of course Wolverine. This is a nice cover and look as well, newsstand variant. So this is a nice book to pick up, a little bit below the radar, and something that a lot of people should consider as a nice healthy alternative to big key books. So we all know that the X-Men Age of Apocalypse was a big dud. But again, like I guess that has affected some of the key comics that affected that. That's a good time now to pick up those key issues that kind of fell off the map a little bit because of the lackluster performance of that movie. So here we have X Factor number 5, and you can see I wrote down the first cameo appearance of Apocalypse. Again, number 6 is the full appearance. It goes back to Spider-Man 299, which I sent to grading, versus Spider-Man 300, or Amazing Hulk 280, and 180, and then 181. Again, the cameo versus the first appearance, a lot of people have talked about it. I think it's stupid. If you see a panel and you're able to identify the character, even if it's one full complete panel, that should be a first appearance. But in my opinion, Amazing Spider-Man 299 is the first appearance of Venom, not 300. And Todd McFarlane has gone on record agreeing with that notion. So anyway, this is the first appearance first cameo of Apocalypse, and I think this is a great book to pick up. Again, a nice one to put away, maybe get graded and just put away or hang on the shelf. See what happens with this, especially with all the mutant spec that's been going on. Let's see, the next one is probably a low grade. This is a low grade book, and Fantastic Four number 244, and this is the first Nova. Yeah, So this is, and then you got Galactus involved in it. So again, this is going to be in, I guess, 9.8. This is a really prized book to have, a really nice book. But because this is a little bit of a reader, maybe a cleaning press would do a little bit of help to it, but not that much. That's what I'm looking at. If I could bring it closer. I mean, but still, this is a nice cover of the hand, and just it's just beautiful, and you can't pass it up. Sometimes it's not all about getting something that's perfect and looking, minty fresh. The next one is a book I really wanted to target, and I'm just happy that I got it. But Devil Dinosaur #1, and I am blown away with this one. The colors of it are so vibrant, so captivating, and this is Jack Kirby defined, and that's why I targeted this one. I am surprised how wonderful this copy is. It is, maybe a clean and press, but this thing is just sparkling, minty nice. So I love this. I'm glad to have added to my collection. Now the next is going to be a whole She-Hulk run. Again, like I mentioned, I love Spider-Woman and She-Hulk, kind of like those B superheroes that I think should get more prominent roles. And we all know that there's another Disney Plus featuring the She-Hulk, and Mark Ruffalo is going to be in it. The Abomination is going to be in it. We saw his cameo in the Shang-Chi. So She-Hulk, and I have like the issue 1 of Spectacular She-Hulk already graded and put up on the wall. But this is issue #2, her second appearance. So people sleep on that. But this is the second appearance of the She-Hulk. If the first one is, out of your range, hey, this is not a bad alternative. And this is a nice finding a nice copy of a second appearance or something else is just as much fun as, well, maybe not just as much, but close enough. So this is the issue #2 of the Savage She-Hulk run. And then with that, we conclude with the last issue of the Savage She-Hulk run, issue #25. This is another 100, what is it? So it's a double size issue. So again, newsstand variant, that's something really important to have. And I think this is a great issue to have in the collection and just to hold on to in Spec. And you see She-Hulk's sad, this is it. That's it. And what's funny is like now that the first sensational She-Hulk cover makes a little bit more sense. So when we see She-Hulk, she's sad and crying, and then in the first issue she's threatening like, you better buy my book this time. So you don't want to hurt She-Hulk's feelings. And just for fun, I got, these are cheap $3 books. She-Hulk #19, making fun of Batman, because remember this is the time when Batman '89 came out. So I think that's hilarious, and Michael Keaton is reprising his role. Look at that. That's a nice stupid connection that I just found amusing. So that's why I selected this one. Nothing significant. And She-Hulk #49, and I think you could tell why I like this one. So I love the 90s artwork. I think it's just so cheesy and like just politically not correct. It's like this is what you picture in your head. So, but whatever. I think this is a nice cover. It has the nice Baywatch type of homage to it. Pamela Anderson. That's pretty funny. The next book is a one that doesn't get any love despite having, it's one of those ones that so close but no cigar. And that's Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man #90. Is it the second full appearance of the black uniform or the third? I mean, that's been a big subject. At one point, like ASM, the first appearance, the classic one here, and also the Marvel team up with Daredevil, and this one came out in supposedly the same month, same year. But ASM gets released a month or two beforehand. Boom, they get the #1 spot. Marvel team up and this one, Ooh, that was the same week, I believe. So again, pins and needles here, but I thought this was a good cover, and again, one of those books that maybe not the first, but one of those other books. The only bad thing is this is all you get on the cover of Spider-Man. The black costume is just this half. So then basically Black Cat and then him in his old costume are featured on the cover art. But yeah, this is second or third appearance, depending on who you ask, of the black costume. So that's another one that I really enjoyed. And the next one. And because my channel is based on G.I. Joe comics, I'm actually embarrassed to say this, but I never had issue number 155 and a half. This is the free comic book day of this issue, and it basically talks about the Cobra side of what things are. This is a continuation from 155 of the Marvel run, so this is picking up right after that, and boom, starting out. I've always read the online version of this, but to have an actual copy of 155 finally, it's a free comic book day book, so you don't think that, hey, I'll get it later. Finally, Famous Faces and Funnies put it aside. They're like, here, take it. So I'm glad they did that for me. The next few is going to be like a series of, because of the Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. And that's Maximum Carnage, I think, number 2. Let's start with the first one, start with the Spider-Man Unlimited. That's the first. This is the second part in the Maximum Carnage storyline. Again, Carnage, JJ, and Spidey there. And I have like various ones from, so here is number 11 from ASM number 380. And you got Venom, Spidey, Carnage, and Iron Fist, Cap. I think his name is Dreadlock or something like that. I don't know what his name is. Deadlock or something. Anyway, but this is a great cover, and they're saying Let There Be Carnage. May have some elements of Maximum Carnage in it. And again, just continuing with that, Amazing Spider-Man 378. A nice cover with all three primarily featured on it. Web of Spider-Man number 102. This is 6 of 14. Again, Morbius is joining in there. Doppelganger. I mean, this is another busy cover, and something to add. And one from my childhood, 363. I don't know if you saw an earlier episode, I showcased how 362 got graded, and I have it up on the wall. Well, I also had 363, so this is the third appearance of Carnage. But again, a nice cover featuring the talking heads, so to speak, with their fangs. I like this cover more than the issue 361 and 362. Well, 362 is close, but this one, I like this cover a lot with the green and everything. That always appealed to me as well. And I think the last two, The Amazing Spider-Man number 366 with Black Widow. We got Taskmaster, the Red Skull, Peter Parker and his parents, finding out what happened, the truth behind them. I still have to read the online version of this first, so I can't really talk much about it. I was in and out with Spider-Man. I was more of a Batman person, obviously, back in that day, so I follow Batman religiously, and every now and then I would dive into Spider-Man. So I totally missed this arc. So I'm interested to know what happened. I mean, of course I follow the Carnage arc, but because this came immediately right after the Carnage arc. So I'm actually interested into knowing more about this as well. Just Carnage just took so much out of you. If you were reading from 358 all the way to 363, 364, you were just, it was exhausting. So I needed a break from Spider-Man after that. Anyway, that's that. And here's another Spec book, possible Spec. This is one of the early covers of Shrek. We saw her in the Venom 2 trailer in her jail cell screaming. but this is one of her maybe second cover appearance. So I think that was something that, you know, and plus it's an annual, so it's kind of nice. And this is a very good copy of this annual. So this is one, maybe, I don't know. I'm probably not going to send that one to grading. I'll probably be pass it on to the next collector. Well, that's a little bit of a showcase for my comic pickups for the past month. I hope you stay tuned, hit that subscribe button, and remember, we should see some of these coming back probably at the end of August or beginning of September. So it's going to be interesting to see what we see here and what PGX or EGS are going to grade for these books. So I can't wait to showcase that for you. Anyway, this is Shabu RU signing off.